Hey guys, welcome back to part
There's a
2
little room
of my
right that we
course
can't see,
vlog
correct?
here at
Okay.
Spanish Bay Golf Links in Pebble Beach, California.
Okay.
This
Yeah.
video will be
Sorry,
showcasing the
box
back 9. So let's get started. 10th hole here is a par 5, 520 yards from the tips. Hitting through it off the tee just to make sure I can get this ball in play. Driver, you run out of room on the left. So hit this one decently, not great, but
Didn't hit that
hit it well enough to
hey.
get me in play, so that's all we needed. Second shot here, we have 230 in. Sorry, 245 into this par 5. There are a couple bunkers up by the green, so I'm taking 2-iron here and just trying to rip this up by the green. My thought was if I end up in one of those bunkers up by the green, I'd be fine and be able to get up and down for birdie. And chunked that one, so unfortunate there, but did end up splitting all the bunkers there, so ended up not in a terrible spot. You see here we have about 75 yards into this back left flag. Green does slope a little right to left, so just trying to take this ball a little right of the flag and let it kick to the left. Really just trying to pick this one cleanly and get a little bit of spin on it just to control it. Hit it well, and it honestly just took a pretty straight bounce and checked. So not the greatest shot, but not terrible either. I have about a 15 footer for birdie. You can see the putt here is 15 feet down the hill, breaking a little to the left. I thought the putt was going to break straight. It ended up, after we looked at it some more, it looked like it was going to break a little left.
Same pace, right?
So this putt is downhill towards the ocean. We're actually at the top of the property here, so very heavily sloped towards the ocean back here. And my goal was to hit this about a foot past the hole. And yeah, after about a foot short. You might be able to hear my caddy and I joking about it, how our goal was to put a foot past and left it a foot short. So par's not bad there. Moving on to the 11th hole. This is a relatively short par 4, 365. Slight dogleg right again. And once again, sorry about the bad camera angle. I feel like that I say that in all my videos. So I am hitting driver here. I've been hitting a little cut all day with it, so we're just trying to play that cut. And I overcut this one, so we are actually having to hit a provisional just to be safe. We didn't know if this ball was going to stay in bounds. There's a road up to the right of those trees. So we did find the ball, luckily. You can see the flag just between the two trees on the right. I only had about 90 yards here. There is a big false front on the screen though, so my goal was just to try to take something up over the trees, and if I got on the green, great. If not, it was going to be a little short, and I was on the uphill chip. I hit this one pretty well, and it just caught that ridge and rolled back off the front of the green.
Close.
I was really happy with that shot though. So now I have about a 35 footer up the slope from just off the front of the green. Really just trying to roll this on a good line with good pace. If I get this within a couple feet, I like my chances at par. So started just a touch right in my line, but ended up about 2 feet away. So I'll go ahead and tap that one in for a par. And let me just say right now, these greens at all the Pebble Beach courses are probably some of the best greens I've putted on in a long time, especially for being Poana. Usually Poana will get pretty bumpy, but these greens are rolling pretty smooth and pure all day. Now we are on to the 12th hole, par 4, 432. Hitting driver here, and I found something in my swing time with my caddy, just getting a little quick at the top. So I'm really trying to feel like I'm just pausing a little bit more at the top. And I hit that one really nicely, probably one of my best drives of the day. See just the quick tee pickup, it's always nice. So now we have about 115 yards out, pin tucked behind that bunker on the right. And this fairway off the tee ends at about 310, 315-ish. So getting that close to the end of the fairway felt really nice. So I'm just trying to keep this ball slightly right of the flag and blocked it out right. The reason I'm trying to keep it right of the flag is there's a pretty decent slope, about 10 feet left of this pin, And yeah, I was not happy about this shot. Just wasn't hitting my wedges well all day. So here we are, third shot, short-sided, and this is something that I've really had to work on. Not trying to get too fancy, and yeah, I left that short and now have basically the same chip. So once again, sorry about the bad camera angle, but going back to what I was saying, now I would probably just go and try to fly it on, like, just nice and easily on the green. If I left myself with a 20-footer, I'd leave myself with a 20-footer. You can't get fancy on a shot like that, especially out of thick, sticky rough like there is at the Pebble Beach courses. So my caddy and I were just talking about how, we can just chip this one in to save par. And yeah, I was able to chip that one in. That hit the pin going pretty quick though, so it's nice that it hit the pin and dropped. Now we're on to the 13th hole. Par 3, only 126 yards from the tips. But I'm playing this about 150 and just trying to flight it low. There's so much wind up. There was so much wind at this point, so just trying to flight it low. So this was a knockdown 9-iron. Hit it right at it and just ended up on the green just a touch short. Pin was middle right, so really close to that slope on the right.
Yeah.
It's now about a 15-footer uphill. It looks uphill, but this is actually playing still towards the water, so it's going to play flatter than it looks. So just kind of talking over the line with my caddy, and I gotta say, having a caddy was probably one of the best things for this course. There's so many little hidden slopes and everything that you just don't see without a caddy. Rolled this one pretty well, just broke a little bit more than we thought, so I'll go ahead and tap that one in for another par. So playing pretty well on the back nine so far. Even par through 4 holes on the back, so playing pretty well. Now on to play one of the coolest par 5s on the course, besides the first hole. Number 14, playing 576 straight into the wind, back towards the ocean. Downhill tee shot, but we're looking straight into the wind, so I'm really just trying to fight this down. And I did exactly that, just get a ball out there and play.
And yes, that's low with my driver.
With the wind, I'm not looking at getting there in 2, so yeah, you can see what this hole looks like. That bunker on the left is about 320 off from the back. So
out of the wind.
Yeah. Here's our second shot. I'm still playing 260 out here.
Yeah.
So really, I'm just trying to hit a knockdown 5-iron and get myself about 90 yards out. And just pulled it a touch. A little heavy, little left, but stayed in play, so wasn't too upset about that one. Just advancing the ball forward really is all I needed. It's not about 110 yards in, so it's the 54-degree wedge. Pin is over that mound. One of the biggest things with Spyglass, or not Spyglass, Spanish Bay, when you get close to the water, is you really get these natural dunes. I'll see a couple more of them in the upcoming holes. So I hit this one pretty well, and I thought it was going to be right next to the pin. This ball just took a massive bounce and really just rolled out. Pin was back left, and this ball just missed the little ridge there that kind of funnels it down to the hole. So, sorry about the bad camera angle here. I literally could not put this camera anywhere behind me. So, I was explaining this at about a 30-footer. Downhill slope, but looking back up the hill. So, I was going to play pretty flat. And my caddy, we both thought this putt was breaking right. And for some reason, this putt went left. This was one of the few putts that both my caddy and I were just really confused about.
Yeah.
So now I have about a 5-footer here for par. And my caddy and I were still both confused about which way this putt was going to break after the last one. So I'm playing this left edge, trying to roll it in. Should break a little right. And I pushed it. It broke. We had it read correctly, and just a bad stroke there, so bad bogey there, but still have more golf to play, so on to number 15. 15 is a par 5, 390 yards for the tips, and this is probably one of the harder holes on the course for me. Fairway ends 277 from the tips, so you can't hit driver here wind's blowing hard off the right. So I'm just hitting a 3-wood here again, just trying to get a ball out there and play. And that was probably my best 3-wood all day, just crushed it. And that building you see in the background is actually the Insta Mattlefebvre27, really nice hotel. So I would definitely recommend staying at the Insta Mattlefebvre27. You can see the flag all the way over there. This whole dog is to the right. Here's our second shot. I have about 120 yards looking right back into this wind. And this is probably a good 2 or 3 club wind. So this is a 9-iron from 120. Putting it back in my stance, and I'm just trying to hit a trap draw here. Pin's tucked on the right. Did not want to flirt with the right side of the green. And this ball just did not draw. Started just right of the pin and took a bad bounce down the slope. So missed the green off to the right. So once again, I short-sighted myself. Something I have to get better at doing. So unfortunately, another bad camera angle here. You can just see the top of the ball at the bottom of your screen. So this is about a 15-20 yard chip where I knew if I actually played this left of the hole, it was going to kick hard and run out to the right. So my cat and I were looking at this, and we're really just trying to fly it to basically almost an exact spot, and we knew it was going to chase towards the hole. And it flew a little too far left, or too far right, but it did end up breaking back, and that ball almost went in. So once I didn't get it on video, but I chipped that to about a foot. Actually, I did get it on video. So it's about a 5-footer here for par. And this was a very slippery putt. This is probably one of the quickest putts I had all around. You can see the practice stroke. It's a lot harder than I actually swing. And just, I barely tapped that, and that ball was going in with some pace. So it's nice to roll that one in for par and move on to 16, which is a par 3. 200 yards. Playing a little up. It was only playing about 180 today, or that day. So I was kind of in between a 7-iron and 8-iron. My caddy was telling me to hit 7-iron, and I stupidly went with an 8-iron. So I think that'll tell you already what happens to this ball. This is probably one of the coolest par 3s on the course, though. Right next to the water, you got sand dunes surrounding this entire green, and I hit that shot pretty well, and I thought it was going to be good. I just got held up by the wind. It ended up a little short. You can see what I'm talking about with the sand dunes surrounding this green. This pin was front left, or right in the front, so very accessible hole location, and I did not do a good job at giving myself a shot here. So this is about a 15-yard chip. Just trying to fly this one onto the green and let it chase out. And did exactly that. I just pulled it a touch, and it broke left. So, not the greatest, but ended up giving myself about a 7-footer for par here. And this is something I've definitely gotten better at now, is not leaving myself 7 or 8 footers for par. This was filmed about a month ago, and I think since then I've definitely improved my chipping a lot to where I'm not leaving myself these long par attempts. And when I hit that putt, I thought I pushed it right, but thankfully it just caught that right edge and curled back in. That was a nice par. Now on to 17, and another just really tough hole right next to the ocean. Very similar to number 15, where the fairway ends, just a little bit longer. So I'm hitting driver here and just trying to knock it down, get it out and play. And yeah, when I'm hitting a driver that I'm trying to get out and play, and I hit it that badly, it's not a good thing. This ball is sprayed out to the right. You can see this hole just surrounded by green, or the dunes. You can see the green up there. So we looked for this ball for probably almost 3 minutes. I'm actually looking probably 20 yards ahead of this. My mom, who was walking with us, actually just stumbled upon the ball and found it. So I have about 180 out, and I'm just hitting a 7-iron, and we're playing for a flyer here. And this ball really came out hot. Right at the flag, too. I mean, this was looking good all the way. And it just took a massive bounce and went just over the back of the screen. So can't complain about that one though. So now I have a downhill chip here for par, or for birdie, sorry. And I actually chunked this. This ball never should have gotten that close. And unfortunately, this was the one I didn't get on video, but I was able to tap that one in for par. And there's a look from the back of the screen, like at the Pacific Ocean. Really, I gotta say, Spanish Bay, that's probably my favorite of the 3 courses I played in Pebble Beach. I played Spyglass, Pebble Beach, and then Spanish Bay. And this was by far my favorite course, just from the overall looks of it. So now we're on to 18. Another par 5 here, 574. And this is, I think, the first par 5 that actually plays downwind. So that was really nice to see. So hit that one pretty well, just blocked it a touch out to the right. Luckily the first fairway's over there, so I knew I could miss a little right. And we just had to watch it for a second. We saw it down, so we knew it was good. So we get up there, and this ball has just buried itself in the rough. So the coolest thing about this hole is it's a split fairway. So you can either be really aggressive and take it at the flag, or lay out to the right. So I was trying to lay out to the right here just because of this lie. So I'm hitting a 6-iron and just trying to hack it out. And just totally, once my club hit the grass, it shut the face. And this ball went left into the hazard. We saw where the ball went in though. You can kind of see the grass in the hazard and just some of the wildlife on this course. But we did find my ball in the hazard about 100 yards out. So Mike and I were debating just taking a drop. I ended up deciding to try to hit it. So it's only 65 yards to cover this, 100 yards to the flag. So I'm hitting a 54 degree and just trying to hack it out. And once again, just caught the hosel and shut the club face, but got this ball out just left of the green. Short side chip coming up, but I was just happy to get that ball out. So you can see the flag there, just about 7 or 8 paces on the left side of the green. And there's a big slope about 5 paces past. And unfortunately, I caught this a little too out of the rough, and that ball just rolled all the way down the hill. So not a good chip there. You can see I have about a 45-foot putt here for par. And I really did not want to end on a bogey, so really trying to make this putt. So you can see just I hit that putt pretty hard and wasn't breaking for a while. It just slowly started breaking back to the left at the end. Put it to about a foot, so I would tap in for bogey there to finish off my round. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider liking and subscribing to this channel. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next video.